Hello, welcome to episode 4. We can see it in
I didn't
your
agree to this, by the
likes.
way.
We can see it in your shares. You're all the listeners we wanted. And now it's time to get on with sharing the podcast.
What was that?
That was a big intro to 2018.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that.
All right.
Is that the thing that you said was amazing? I've got an amazing intro.
That was amazing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yo, Merry Christmas. Hope you
Oh,
had a
God,
good
yeah.
one.
We had Christmas and New Year since we
did.
last spoke to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope you had a good Christmas and a great New Year. I myself didn't really get up to much. Had a quiet one. Watched a few movies, some TV series.
I had the best New Year's of my freaking life. But I had a crap Christmas.
I had the quietest New Year, actually. We actually literally whispered it in because my kid was sick and she kept waking up. So we went, Happy New Year.
Oh,
Literally.
well, that's sad.
Yeah, you look really sad, Harry. There was nothing sincere about that
I
whatsoever.
was in like 30-degree heat with fireworks and in the 5-star resorts. So.
And just to let you know, if you hear giggling in the background, our friend Claire is here.
She's like our producer.
Yeah,
Roz
she's
today.
our producer for tonight. she's drinking, so yeah.
CJ Buds.
That actually sounds good, CJ Bods.
She is CJ Buds.
Follow her on Instagram on CJ Bods. Okay, so if you haven't already listened to our previous episodes, there's obviously 3, and you can find them on SoundCloud and iTunes, and we are hopefully going to have them up on YouTube very soon, so you'll be able to listen there as well.
Woo! And thanks to our listeners so far, we've looked at our stats and we've got listeners all around the world, which is a bit of a
Japan.
shock. It's pretty ace as well.
Australia, America,
Yeah. Finland,
Denmark,
Canada.
Croatia,
Woohoo!
South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
France, Ireland,
And like a few from the UK.
and of course England.
Okay, so moving on to episode 4's topic, we'll be talking about films so good you wish you could see them again for the first time. These are the kind of films that, you know, leave you dumbstruck with their awesomeness. You know, you come out of it with an appreciation so intense that you want to go back and watch it to have the same experience, but you know that magic's happened. You're never going to have it that way again. It's a one-time kind of deal. Those are the kind of films we're talking about today. And Lorraine selected her top 5. I've selected mine. And perhaps those 10 films will be one of yours.
Hopefully. So, what have we been actually watching lately? Harry, do you want to start off with that?
Oh, goodness me. I've never watched so many films in such a short space of time. I've got a lot to cover, but I'll just mention a few.
Go for it.
Okay. So one of these films that I've watched was on the plane to Indonesia. And
We get it. You went to Indonesia.
but I'm saying, I love long haul flights for this reason. The fact that you have, you know, a lot of like recent releases, and one of them anyway was Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron. And I'd heard it was pretty crap, but I saw Alec watching it, and I was just like, actually, that looks pretty good. So I started watching it myself. And okay, the plot's pretty hard to follow, I'm not going to lie, and I can't stand Theron's attempt at a British accent. But
Oh, is it not good?
no, it was.
Oh,
it
was good.
It was highly entertaining, and the cinematography in it's great. The soundtrack, you as an 80s child, will freaking love. And there's just this really fantastic kind of one-shot fight scene, which like was amazing. So yeah, that was good. What about you?
I went to see, being a musical fan, and the fact it was my birthday, so I got to pick.
Happy birthday, Lorraine.
Oh, thank you very much. The Greatest Showman.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
I love Hugh Jackman. I really do. But in this, I'm not going to give any spoilers away because it's obviously still at the cinemas, and people should go and definitely see this. But you got Zac Efron, Michelle Williams, and the music in it is absolutely amazing.
I have to say, it doesn't seem like something you'd see Michelle Williams in because she's quite an indie chick.
No, I didn't know she was actually in it. I knew, like, obviously the others were in it, but when I saw her, I was like, okay. But she actually does it really well. Like, do you know what I mean? She does sing in it.
Oh, right.
As well, yeah. And I think it's her. Like, her name's on it as being that, so I presume it's her. There's some dancing in it, which I think she does, but there's one dance scene with her and Hugh Jackman on a rooftop, very Mary Poppins. And
okay.
But I don't think that's her.
Right.
No,
okay.
I mean, if it might be, I don't know, but they don't show any real close-ups of it, so I'm not sure if that was her. But no, so basically it's a story by about a circus that was created by P.T. Barnum, and for, I say this in inverted commas, freaks, where people would obviously pay to go and see, you know, bearded ladies. I hate saying this, but people of color were in it, which it took me halfway through the film to actually realize that that was their thing. They said that they were a brother and sister act, and I was like, well, what's weird about that? And then halfway through I was like, oh, it's because she's black. And I was like, and I was like, God, it really does show how today
times have changed.
They haven't changed enough. Like, do you know what I mean? You still get a lot of these problems, obviously not, you know, people, I don't think people still go and see these types of shows, do they?
No.
Well, I hope they don't. But yeah, so the dance scenes in it were out of this world. There's this one girl in it, she's the albino, and she is every time there's a dance scene I was like fixated on her.
Okay.
She was just really good. So yeah, I definitely go and see this if you like. There's an amazing singer, she actually doesn't sing it, Jenny Lind, who apparently I found out tonight is, your parents told us that she is buried in Malvern.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she actually moved to Malvern and is buried in Malvern. But the song Never Ever is like, it's such an amazing part of the film. Like literally everyone is quiet when this goes on. So yeah, so in general, great music, great choreographer, great story, amazing acting. Definitely go and see it.
Cool.
5 out of 5.
So that's a recent release at the cinema.
Yeah, recent release at cinema. But I won't give too much away because it is still very new and there's a few things in it I'd like to say, but it will give stuff away.
Okay, fair enough. I watched a film called Colossal, again out in Indonesia, because they have amazing like channels out there. They have Fox and HBO and everything, so you get all
I
these...
have Fox and HBO.
Well, I don't. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, anyway, so I watched Colossal, and it's I think it came out last year, and it stars Anne Hathaway and oh god, that dude married to Olivia Wilde. He's an actor. Jason Sudeikis. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they were like childhood friends. And she's got an alcohol problem, and she goes back to this town where they both grow up, and she realizes that through her actions, she controls this monster that appears in Seoul in Korea. It's bizarre, but it gets
really weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. But it goes so horrible. I won't tell you what happens, but it really like resonated in a bad way with me. I didn't like it. It just like left me really feeling horrible. You know, when you watch those films and they just make you feel like that. That's how it made me feel. So I didn't like that. Yeah. Any more from you?
Well, over Christmas I taped a film. Sorry, Sky record.
Taped.
I still say taped. That shows how old I am, doesn't it?
Did you put some sellotape over it
so they wouldn't get re-recorded over? Maybe. I taped a film. I haven't seen any of them, and it was Pitch Perfect 2. And I thought, I love a good musical, and I like Rebel Wilson and Anna Kendrick, so I'll give it a go. And it was so good. Very Glee, but I really did like it. So then I bought on Amazon Pitch Perfect 1, which wasn't as good as Pitch Perfect 2.
No.
I prefer, but then I'm wondering, because I seen Pitch Perfect 2 first, did I prefer it? But I prefer the second one.
Pitch Perfect 1's much better than Pitch Perfect 2.
Well, I prefer the second one. But no, I thought they were good. And she's actually
I
quite funny,
Claire's
Rebel
making
Wilson.
funny faces at that.
You are?
I don't think I've seen either, fully.
Oh.
We recommend them.
Yeah, they are entertaining.
Especially 2.
1.
But yeah, no, Rebel Wilson, she's actually... I've never really seen her in anything, but she's actually really funny. She's so dry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the way she just...
She doesn't seem to... I think she is Rebel Wilson in those films.
Yeah, I feel like that's her personality.
Yeah.
Like when I see her on Graham Norton's show. But
Yes.
apparently, Pitch Perfect is meant to be the highest grossing musicals of all time or something, she was saying on Graham Norton. Because there was someone on there talking about... It might have even been Hugh Jackman, I can't remember. There was someone on there talking about musicals, and she just kept on like rubbing it in their face. I wonder if that's true.
I don't know how much stock I take in this greatest blow of all time, because the way things just keep...
I know, because I saw something about another film and it was like the biggest thing. So I Googled it and like, really? And then I Googled it and it was like Gone with the Wind or something was the biggest film of all time. But I think the way they do it is like money at that time.
It's yeah.
So it's hard to kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything on the old television box?
Yeah. Oh, can I just quickly get in? I watched The Big Sick and...
was it on the plane to Bali?
It's on the way back. Dubai to the UK. So
Claire, can you take over?
and that's a gentle little film, and I'm really glad that they've been nominated. It's it's a comedian called Kamal, I believe Ninjani, and
I know that name.
he's been discussed a lot by Edgar Wright on Twitter recently about Sprats. Anyway, it's a true life story about how he met his partner. And she was basically was put into a coma, and he had to like deal with her parents having not really been in a relationship with this girl, and it went from there. But it was really good, and Holly Hunter is fantastic, and there's this one scene which you would love at a show. So yeah, watch that. I've been watching some TV. I just today actually finished watching The End of the Fucking World. Bleep. On Netflix.
Is that the killer one?
Yeah.
Does he kill her?
No, he wants to. He wants to be a psychopath. He thinks he's a psychopath. It's this actor called Alex Lawther, and he's given me the wiggings and like everything he's been in. He was in the Alan Turing film, The Imitation Game, and he's in Goodbye Christopher Robin recently, and he just doesn't sit right with me. But then I loved him after this. He was really good in it, and it's kind of like Natural Born Killers, but about teenagers in the UK.
Oh.
And
I will give it a go.
Great soundtrack.
Oh well, I love it when it's got.
There's a bit of murder, which you'd like. So
yeah, I love a bit of murder. Murder.
Soundbite. And I've been watching loads of Friends on Netflix.
I tried to watch Friends again actually, and I couldn't get into it.
Oh my god,
I know, that's really weird.
that is weird.
But what I did get into, because I'm only on episode 4, because I have to actually wait for the next episode, which is so funny. Dairy Girls.
Oh yeah, I saw a few instas about that.
No, it is the funniest thing. I mean, it's actually one of the funniest things I've seen in years. It really is like,
Really?
and it's basically set in Derry or Londonderry, depending on how you see things up there, which is in Northern Ireland for people that don't know. And it's set in the 90s, which is when a lot of the troubles were going on.
Right.
And one of the things that starts off with is quite funny is basically they need to go to school, and to get to school they have to cross this bridge, but this bridge has a bomb on it.
Oh shit.
You say oh shit, I say oh shit. Most people would say oh shit, but to them it's an inconvenience. Like, oh come on, just sort it out. And it reminded me back of a day when I was a child. No, I was about 16, and I was up in Belfast, and my grandparents lived on the Falls Road, and I was outside, and a bus exploded in front of me, and I ran into the house.
You never told me that
No,
story.
I ran into the house. I was like, "Oh my god, a bus exploded," and they were like,
wow.
"Yeah, okay." Like, it was nothing to them, like, you know what I mean? Because it was a common occurrence, obviously. And but this is the way these people acted. But the whole Irish humour in it is so spot on. And it's basically a group of girls, and then this one boy who's English, who has to go to this all-girls school because they're afraid if he goes to the boys' school that they'll beat the shit out of him.
Wow.
But it's just the way they do it. It's just like, it's so on point. Like, everyone in it is just like, the humour is just like completely what I remember from growing up in Ireland. I remember going to school in Ireland when I was 14. I'd moved when I was 14, and a teacher swore at me and swore at the other the pupils, and nobody blinked. And I was like,
telling me that,
why are they swearing? Smoking pipes and cigars and everything in the classroom. But it's just, I cannot recommend this enough. And then in episode 2, they do this great Reservoir Dogs little green bag skit where they're trying to get jobs, and they do this like let's go to work thing, and it goes out all slow motion with this on in the background, and great 90s music. But yeah, this is so funny.
Okay.
I would highly recommend it. And just a quick one, I'll say really quickly, The Path.
Oh, with Aaron Paul.
With Aaron Paul, yeah. I'm only on episode 3 because it's quite a tough watch.
Yeah.
It's very Scientology. So it is. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what's going to happen. I think they're in season 4 at this stage. It's on Amazon, and I don't really know where it's going, but it's very, like, he's a bit unsure of the whole cult thing. But it's not a cult, obviously. But it's very, there's a lot of it, like, you have to get up this, like, you're a 9R or a 10R or an 8R going up this ladder, and in Scientology's ladder, because I've been watching this documentary on Scientology, and yeah, it's very, to me, it's very Scientology. But yeah, Hugh Dancy's in it from Hannibal.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle Monaghan. I don't know what that was. But yeah, so that's one. I'm only on 3, but I will go back to it.
Is that outside?
Do you want me to have a look?
What did that sound like?
No, it's like, it sounds like doors banging.
Oh, it might be people going into the car.
Yeah, it's just the car.
Sorry.
What are we going on to next? Our actual films, is it?
Hang on, I've got one more TV show.
Oh, right, sorry.
Okay. We're going to questions. I'll talk about that another time.
Oh God, that question.
Okay, so we're moving on to listeners' questions because we actually have some that have come in. Actually, our first one, and well, our only one.
I don't know how I'm going to answer this.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy one. Victoria.
Practically offending someone.
Victoria's messaged us asking the following. Do you think, in the light of the multitude of sexual allegations coming to a head in Hollywood, that this will create a shift in films and shows that will come out / be successful in 2018? Do you predict more female leads, more female writers and producers? If so, what effect do you think this will have on viewers, particularly in regards to topics like action films and shows viewed with the male gaze in mind? Oosh. Lorraine.
You can start.
Oh, thanks.
Didn't you like write a novel?
I've written some thoughts. I think before I really had a chat about this, I feel that the allegations having become so frequent within a matter of months that even before that, women's role in Hollywood was set to change. You've got films coming out like Annihilation, which seems like it's going to be an all-female cast led science fiction film that looks crazy, by the way. And then, you've got the remake of Tomb Raider and what I think and I feel and I hope is a less sort of sexualized version, even though I love the original, I have to say. And then you've got like a female ensemble piece in the Ocean's 8 movie. And I think things like Big Little Lies, which was, again... female-led,
yeah.
Produced, created,
They've got Meryl Streep
written.
coming into that as well.
Yeah, excited about that. Again, that's female players getting their strength in Hollywood and the TV industry and all that. And I think that's great, but I don't want it to be all female, one side, or male the other.
No,
I want a lot more.
Both.
Yeah, I want a lot more, a lot more women are sort of getting their recognition, and I hope for the right reasons, especially with this Greta Gerwig nomination for Lady Bird. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's great, so hopefully it's, just.
Yeah, because did you see on the Golden Globes where Natalie Portman that went, here's to all the male...
Yeah, and then obviously a couple of weeks later, the Oscar nominations come in and Greta's on there, and I hope that's, again, just, but I hope, and then, you are getting more recognition for female directors and writers, but I want it to be, and I discussed this with Mr. Luke Harrison, and he said something that resonated with me, that really stuck out. He was just like, it needs to get to a stage where there are as many bad films written and produced and written by women as there are. He says Michael Bay. And he said then that will be true equality, and I think that's right. And I think 2018 won't necessarily be that year, but we're on a stepping stone to something positive.
It shouldn't have to be an epic film for them to be recognised.
No.
It should just be a mainstream.
Yeah. I mean, something else that really made me think recently was an article a comment by Steven Soderbergh about this whole Hollywood, allegations issue, and he was just like, he was worried that women won't get the roles they deserve because men won't want to employ them because of the whole controversy, the stigma, and the cost. And I think that's sad if that's true. And I really hope that's not the case.
What do you mean, men won't want to employ women because...
Yeah. I mean, look at this situation with all the money in the world, with the fact that they've had to go back and do reshoots, and it's come out that Michelle Williams was offered like expenses, or she didn't even think to ask for, and like Mark Wahlberg
got $1 million or something.
1.5 million, which he's donated the Times Up, but after it also. I think we're leading towards something positive. We're not there by far, but 2018 I think is seeing a shift.
But you shouldn't have to worry about hiring females because of what people will do. People need to... That shouldn't be your concern. The concern should be, let's bloody educate these men or do something to make them realise that it's not okay to carry on in this behaviour. It shouldn't be, we're scared to hire women because it might cost us some money.
No.
It should be, we're scared to hire some men that we know are, because like everyone knew that. I mean, it was in his contract for God's sake, Weinstein's, that he could be paid out, bailed out if he sexually harassed someone. It was in his bloody contract. I mean, is that not a red flag?
Yeah.
And who are the twats that basically let this? Like, can you imagine going to work? Oh, by the way, can you put in my contract I can molest all the men at work? You know what I mean? Yeah, sure, no problem. Like, do you know what I mean? So that's the problem. It shouldn't be, we're worried about hiring these women because of what might happen. It's like, let's sort these men out.
Yeah.
And stop them doing these, the ones that have been proven guilty or have admitted to it.
I mean, it's in the news almost constantly now. But I think it is towards something positive. I don't feel that it's going to be, it's going to be in the limelight for a bit and then go back to what it was. It's gone way past that now.
Yeah.
And I think, but however, even before that, I think we were coming towards a shift anyway.
Yeah.
Like I said, with all those films coming out, there's something there for all these, I know it's like, let's do, like we were talking a bit about Expendables, blah, blah, blah. You know what, fuck what we were saying. Let's do a mix, I want that. I don't want the division.
Yeah, it shouldn't be divided.
No.
It should be equal.
But we are coming to like that recognition of a division, and I think once we've got past that, then
we can come.
And I think 2018 is that stepping stone.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm probably wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about, but so yeah, that's Victoria's question discussed. Discussed. Chris has always also emailed in asking about our thoughts on Black Mirror, but sorry to disappoint Chris, neither of us have watched that particular series yet.
Although when I heard Jodie Foster directed an episode,
and Joe Wright,
it made me want to.
I almost clicked play the other day.
It's meant to be quite messed up though.
That's it, and I don't think.
But then I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
you probably love it. I know it's like a social commentary, isn't it? And I'm gearing myself up to watch it because I've heard very, very good things about it. So yeah, we'll perhaps talk about that one in the future. You ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Bring it on, bitch.
Okay, do you want to start? Okay, so let's just reiterate. These are the films so good you wish you could see them again for the first time.
I almost feel with these type of films that I'm disappointed that I've seen them because I know I'm not going to get that feeling.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me, disappointment. And I remember I've had that, like some of the
Don't make
films.
it a sad occasion, dude.
No, I'm not. No, it's not going to be sad. But it's like, obviously I can't. Like I wanted to talk about again, like Silence of the Lambs and Aliens and stuff, but I can't. Because then every week I'd just be talking about Silence of the Lambs and Aliens.
But the thing is, moving on. Yeah, let's start.
Sorry.
Let's begin. You can go first.
All right. Well, my first film.
All right.
And I actually remember watching this film. The other films I don't remember the day I watched it, but this film I remember the day I watched it. And it was Spielberg's 1993 Jurassic Park.
Oh my god, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I know. Stars Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, Richard Attenborough. And basically, I remember, I didn't see this at the cinema. And I remember going home to my parents' house and they're saying, oh, let's watch this film, Jurassic Park. And I was literally on the edge of my seat. I could not believe I was seeing it. And I was so disappointed that I hadn't seen it in the cinema. Because, like, obviously that is perfect for the cinema, especially with surround sound. They had surround sound.
I was too young to go. So.
Shouldn't you be in Bali?
No, I remember because I really wanted to go and my brother and sister were taken by my parents and I had to stay at home.
6 or something?
No, when was it? 93. No, I was like...
7. You were born in 87.
Yeah, so yeah, I was 6.
Yeah.
I remember.
How old was I? Oh my God. I was 19. I was very mature. Anyway, so it's based on a book by Michael Crichton, and I watched this film recently. I watched it there a few weeks ago, and it actually still holds up.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the special effects.
Oh, yeah.
And, when you think about the technology they have now and the technology they have then, it's quite surprising that it actually does this. So, you don't watch it thinking, okay. When you watch some films, you're like, oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really is from the 80s type thing. But this one, you don't get it at all. So for those of you who hadn't seen it, which I'd be quite surprised, I think everyone has, it's basically about a bunch of scientists that are sent to this theme park that has been basically some genetically engineered dinosaurs have been put in. So it's a theme park for you to go and see dinosaurs, so to speak. And of course, they go to check it out to give it the okay so that they can, open it, and chaos ensues. I was trying to think of the word, but it wasn't coming out right. So basically they go in and because
Chaos
of
theory.
Chaos
theory.
But because of one greedy, is he the son? The guy who steals the...
No, he's
an
just an
nephew.
employee.
Oh, I thought he was related to them.
I don't think so.
No. Anyway, this guy steals some... what do they call them when they're in the jars? The specimens.
Specimens.
Some specimen samples, so that someone can basically... Embryos, yeah. So someone that can basically make these dinosaurs, and he turns off all the electricity, and everyone is a free-for-all, basically. So it's just about, basically, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, not Richard Attenborough, and the children.
And Samuel L. Jackson. I always forget that he's
I
in
know,
that
because
film.
I was watching, I was like, I know Samuel L. Jackson's in one of these, but I can't remember which one, and then it was this one that he's in.
Yeah.
A very young Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But one of my favourite bits in it is always to do with the velociraptors.
Yes.
I love the velociraptors.
Clever girl.
Clever girl. And every time I hear my partner say that to Riley, clever girl, I'm like, she is like a velociraptor. But yeah, so the scenes mainly with them are my favourite.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, even when you go in, because Jurassic Park has basically, spawned lots of other Jurassic Park films. We're now in Jurassic World. And, they're used quite a lot in that. I think it's because they're so sneaky. Like the other ones are kind of like, the T-Rex, and they're kind of just like plodding along. Whereas these, like, they sneak up on you.
They're menacing.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
are.
just
And they
mindless
toy
attacking.
with them.
Yeah.
They don't like, if a T-Rex sees you, he's going for you. But when the velociraptors see you, they're like, I see you.
It's that bit with the
Am I
door
gonna-
handle.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, well, like when they're in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And the mirror, so I think that's why I like them, because they almost give you an element of hope that they're not going to kill you in a
Yeah.
really vicious way.
I just always think of like Laura Dern when she's going, run. You're like, "Ah!"
Yeah, but when she runs, that's actually one of the bits that when she's running from the door,
And she
to
does the
go to the
swing
door, and
thing.
she's running. Yeah, that you can tell it's not her. So
Oh, really?
badly. Oh God, yeah.
Oh, I never
That's one bit
noticed.
that annoys me. Yeah, you can always tell it's not her. And if it
Oh.
is her, I apologise, Laura Dern.
I love that line as well by Jeff Goldblum when he's just like, nature finds a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because they're all men, aren't they? Or they're all female on there. Or
Then
yeah, they have find a way of doing it. But there is one scene, Jeff Goldblum gets injured, and he's
noisy neighbours. Sorry about that.
he's kind of like sprawled out in a very Michael Jackson Thriller album-esque way.
Yeah.
All that he's missing is the tiger with his shirt, and I was like, that's because Jeff Goldblum was like the stud back
I
then.
know.
you know?
I just don't.
But
Yeah.
no, he was. But yeah, no, I to this day still like I watched it there a few weeks ago, and I still to this
And what
day.
a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So good.
No,
Yeah,
it is-
good choice.
yeah, no, it's definitely one of those ones that I will look forward to showing that to Riley, and I hope they do one of those. There's a lot of these things popping up nowadays, like where you can go and see like the Lost Boys or Dirty Dancing on the big screens,
Yes.
like in a park or something.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll do that with Jurassic Park, because
Oh,
that'd be
definitely
great.
they will.
I'd love to see that
They did in
Yeah.
Oxford last summer.
of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I didn't get tickets.
Oh,
If you didn't hear that, Claire just said they did that in Oxford last summer. So big up Oxford.
so what was your first film, Missy?
The Matrix.
Oh,
Yeah. Wachowski brothers.
Bollocks.
Now not brothers. Anyway, 1999.
oh, aren't they both transgender now?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. Sisters,
Sisters?
maybe?
Well, they were brothers when they did this.
Yes. This was made in 1999. And it's a science fiction action film which stars Keanu Reeves as the protagonist. He's like this computer programmer, I think. And Neo, that's his online name. And he becomes embroiled in this war between humans and machines within a simulated reality called The Matrix. And if you haven't seen this film, I mean, honestly, listeners, don't even bother listening to the rest
How
of this podcast.
amazing is Morpheus?
I know. Ah, Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah.
Such a cool dude.
Is he though? I mean, if you...
I seen him in an interview. I think it was inside the Actors Studio, and he was one of the most amazing interviews, most amazing guy I ever saw. And after that, I was like, do you know, you're the dude. Lawrence Fishburne is amazing. I love him.
He might be. But I mean, in reality, if you met the character of Morpheus, you'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
like, dude, I mean, what are you wearing, first off? And
I like it when they do skits. Sorry, Harry.
This is the first in a pretty crap trilogy, let's be honest, of these films.
Mr. Anderson.
But this saw the invention and the first time use of bullet time visual effects, and I remember watching them being like, "Oh my god, what is it?" Yeah. When Keanu Reeves is falling backwards and the camera's spanning around, amazing. I remember being blown away by it. Oh, I just whacked my mic. Sorry about that. It's also a really interesting story. It kind of messes with, discusses themes of religion and philosophy, and it just quite frankly blows your mind, visually and metaphorically. Noisy neighbours again.
We apologise for any screeching and noises. It's not us.
To me, this is a movie that upon first blowing, that upon first viewing blows your mind. Just to say, I'm reading some of my script and I really apologise about that typo. It's the perfect blend of like a grungy noir meets sort of a technological innovation with a bit of context thrown in, and it was just love it.
I loved The Matrix. No, let me think. I actually did like all of them. I'll be honest with you. I know they all got slated quite a lot, but I actually did like all of them. I mean, the first one was definitely the best. So it was. But
I think the other two just sort of lost their way a little bit. I think with some stories you should just leave it a little bit open-ended.
But see, I just love action films. And as long as there's like the fight scenes between, when Neo and what's the guy's name? The Australian actor.
I don't know.
He's in Lord of the Rings as well. Oh, he's the top elf in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving, yeah. Him. Like that big fight
oh.
scene when there's like millions of each of them.
Doesn't he have a name?
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember his name in it now.
No way. But he's fantastic in it. He. Do you know there's a weird link with The Matrix and Babe?
Really?
Yeah. And the fact that the two agents, one of them is the son-in-law in Babe, and Hugo Weaving is the dog in Babe.
I thought you were going to tell me something like about, the actual film and Babe being in The Matrix or something.
No, there's no pigs that I could see in The Matrix. So.
No, I think one thing The Matrix, I'd never seen anything like that before.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. It just blows.
It was very dark though. There was I don't remember any light in that film. It was just very grim.
It's a bit of romance. Oh, and there's that scene with Keanu and Morpheus in their training, and I love that.
Oh yeah,
when,
that's
Keanu does the little nose tap.
Yeah.
I love that. That's nice.
Yeah. No, that's actually a good choice.
But I don't think you could ever go back and watch that film with a fresh face, being thinking, "Oh, do you know what I mean?" Once you know, you know.
I think the good thing is I don't remember a lot of it.
Oh, okay.
I think I'd go back to it and kind of not be my first time, but I think a lot of it would come back to me. I'd be like, oh yeah, do you know, that type of thing. So I think from that point of view, because some films you watch them, like have you ever watched a film and literally forgotten the whole thing? That happens to me sometimes. I forget the whole thing, and then I go back to watch it, and I'm like, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, I have that a lot. I fall asleep in a lot of films.
Yeah, I've done that too. Not in the cinema though.
No. Okay. Anyway, so that was The Matrix. That was my first one. And what's your second one?
Well, it's a film I know that you're not overly as fond of as I was, but I thought this action film, was amazing. 2008, starring Liam Neeson. Taken. She doesn't like this film.
I don't dislike it. I just don't rate it.
Oh, I thought it was so good. I just thought it was pure action. I think this is the film that kind of shot Liam into Liam. I say that like he's my best friend. Shot Liam into like the action hero role. But no, I thought this was one of the best action films that have been around for a long time. It's such a great story. You know, like everyone wants him as their dad. You know, when you get kidnapped by sex traffickers, you want Liam Neeson as your dad. Well, would your dad be able to do all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, he used to be a former government operative, and basically he's trying to be friends with his daughter again because he split from his wife, and she goes off to Paris, what he thinks is to stay with relatives, but really what she's doing is traveling around following U2. And they basically, her and her friend get taken by Albanian
You too.
sex trafficking. Yeah, basically she says, I'm going to Spain, I think it was, to stay with her friend's relations. But really what they're doing is they're traveling around Europe following the band U2. Because he looks in her bag, he sees in her bag, and he's like, "What's this?" And they're like, they're going around to like multiple European countries to follow the band U2, but they obviously don't get there because she gets, "You're going to get taken."
That is a pretty horrible scene.
Oh, I know. Could you imagine actually being on the phone to your kid and saying, "Yeah, you're about to be kidnapped by someone"?
Yeah, it would be horrible.
Yeah. So basically that for me, although it did get a lot of bad reviews when I was going through it and having a look at reviews and stuff, a lot of them were really bad. Stop pulling a face.
I'm not.
You are. If I had a video camera here, you'd see. Yeah, no, it just had a lot of bad reviews. Just pure action. That's the sole reason I liked it. I did think it was a good story.
It's an interesting story, definitely.
Yeah. But the only thing is, I know you shouldn't think like this when you watch films, but the whole time, because he's got those other friends who do the same job. The whole time I was thinking, why didn't he bring them with him?
Yeah.
Do you know, things like that, and I know you're not supposed to think things like that in films.
He's a lone wolf now.
Well, yeah, but he had just done a job with them, looking after Holly Valance. I can't remember her name. So, that kind of frustrated me a bit. But I just think it's pure action.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
What is it about it that you feel that you can watch in the same way again?
Because I liked it so much.
Right.
And I was like on the edge of my seat. There wasn't a minute where I got to kind of stop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's like, from the moment she's basically taken, it's just like, go, go, go. I mean, you wouldn't get up to go to the loo without pausing it, this type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It's the fact that you don't get...
What's going to happen next?
Yeah, you don't want to miss any of it. You don't get a minute to yourself. And I think sometimes with action films, there's a lot of kind of like sometimes a bit of pausing and stuff like this where they're doing other things. Whereas this... You just don't know what he's going to do. And he obviously gets himself out of every bad situation he's put into.
Yeah.
And, obviously in theory, he shouldn't be able to do what he did. But I think that's what it is. It's just like, I really like action films. I really do.
As she has said in the past, she is an action whore.
I am an action whore. Or a whore for action, as I once said. But yeah, so I think that's what it was. It just was like constant, didn't let up. And I think Liam Neeson, actually, I know he's getting on a bit now because I know he's doing a new kind of action film, The Commuter, and he's in his 60s. But he just pulls it off really well. He just, and I feel like, you get like Keanu Reeves, for instance, is kind of coming up in that kind of older guy hero with action film, with, John Wick. And again, he's doing a brilliant job. So I think, that kind of old tortured soul, trying to, just wants a nice quiet life from this horrible life he once had of doing things that he probably won't talk about. Yeah. And now he gets thrown back into this thing to, get the one person that he cares about most in the world. So yeah.
Cool.
What's your next film?
My next film is The Moulin Rouge.
That's mine film.
No way.
That wasn't my next film, but it was the next film after that.
That's sick. Okay, have we actually agree on something?
How are we even friends?
I
I love this film. Will we just talk about it together then?
Yeah, let's do it. You better not say the same things as me. That's what I'm saying.
I really liked it.
So, yeah, this is a Baz Luhrmann film from 2003. And for me, I don't know if it was the same for you, but I saw this at the cinema. And
I don't remember. I don't think I did.
Wow. This is like... this is one of those films where picture me sat in my row in the cinema and my hair's just like flying because I'm being blasted with just the best film, film experience. It was just, I think I was, how old was I in 2000? I was 16?
Me too.
Yeah, I was 16 and I just...
Stop making me old. I was this age, I was that age.
There was a time when I couldn't see films like this at cinema. Like, I had to sneak into Titanic, you know what I mean? But...
You can shut up now.
She flared her nostrils at me then. So, that was how I was in my seat. I was just like, holy shit, what is this roller coaster ride of film?
Yeah, it doesn't let up, does it? It's like
like
I said about Taken. No, but this film just doesn't let up at all. No. And it's such a spectacle and so colourful, and the music and the dance.
Spectacular.
Yeah, no, I equally loved this film.
Yeah.
And I've watched it quite a few times.
Oh yeah, I probably watch this at least once a year. It's one of those.
And I was reading an article there how they were saying how it was one of these films they feel that Luhrmann made, knowing that some people would not like it. Like you go into certain films, like when you watch a lot of Luhrmann films, like Ballroom and what was the other one, Romeo and Juliet. They're not the conventional films that you'd normally like. You know, you're either going to like them or hate the way he does it. Because I think with all the music involved, like when you watch, especially Romeo and Juliet, there's a lot of those songs and that and stuff. But you know, for me, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, no, it's ever so good. It's such a sort of clever take on the musical, and I mean, there may be things like this before then. I don't know what they are, so if there are, educate me. But it's what apparently is called a jukebox comedy musical.
Yeah,
and that's just like right up my street. So it's not. I mean, there were some original songs for the film, but a lot of them aren't. They're like, you know.
Yeah, well, Come What May was the original one, but yeah, then they did like what Bowie, Sound of Music.
Yeah, Roxanne, Police. Oh my god, that scene, that whole El Tango Roxanne just blew me away the first time I saw it. So good.
Tango was amazing.
So this is. Do you want me to give people a bit of a synopsis then?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So the film centres around Satine, played by Nicole Kidman, in an Oscar-nominated role, by the way. And she is joined by Christian, who's played by Ewan McGregor. He's a British writer who's come to Paris to learn and write about love. And he falls in love with Satine, and she's a courtesan at the Moulin Rouge and a / performer. And Christian gets embroiled in this hedonistic lifestyle of the Moulin Rouge, and he mixes with characters like Toulouse-Lautrec and such. And he's, in a funny turn of events, he's sort of forced into writing this musical, which Satine is going to be the star of, and it goes just from there. It's just...
Yeah, because she falls in love with him kind of by mistake, doesn't she? Because she thinks he's the Duke.
Yes,
that's come to see her.
Who they need the money for.
Yeah, they need the money to keep the thing going. Yeah, so she, you know... Like the way they dance as well, it's very like over the top and ooh,
sped
and all this
up.
Kind of, I wish you could see what we're doing. It's just for Claire's viewing. Yeah, so it's all very like, you know, if you were in a nightclub and someone started dancing with you like that, you'd be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But
I love it when the Carol Zindler goes. It's like my favourite little bit. Yeah, I've written here in my notes, it's a film that delights in exuberant excess, and that's what I think Baz Luhrmann just is the best at doing. Like, he did Australia, and it was a little bit... I liked it.
I've never seen that.
It's okay.
Isn't it really long?
It's really long, and but however, there is one amazing scene with Hugh Jackman pouring like a tub of water over his
I'll watch
body.
It.
But other than that,
I'll just fast forward it to that.
Yeah. But yeah, this film's just so ridiculously fast paced in parts, and you're almost like struggling to keep up. But that's what I kind of like
but it
about
doesn't give you a minute.
No.
It doesn't give you a minute.
You are literally almost on the edge of your seat the entire way, and it's not even like it's just fast paced, but there's just so much in each individual frame visually that you just
it's
overwhelmed.
So colourful.
Yeah,
it's almost like sometimes I think, like, you know, when you go to certain concerts and it's just a big show they put on rather than a person just singing it. This is what this like. There's like loads of, like, when I went to take that, for instance, it was like constant going on, like you didn't know where to look.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing with this, is that it's so over the top.
Yeah.
In a really magnificent way, but you know, you just, again, you don't want to move.
No.
You know, you'd pause it to go to the loo, but yet you'd probably hold it in just so you could see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But, and I think it's one of those films, like, you laugh, you cry in it and everything, you know. And there is some dramatic scenes in it, you know, when, you know, the Duke wants her and tries to force his way onto her. And, like, when, spoiler alert here, no, I'm not allowed to give a spoiler alert. I just had her head shaking at me. But yeah, there's so much, like comic relief. You know, it kind of...
I think there's a real balance of comic and dark. Like,
yeah.
And that's one of the things you come out of it like, what the hell just happened to me?
Yeah.
What the hell was just, you know, was I put through? Do you know what was I just...
Who did this to me?
But you just don't know whether to laugh or cry. What you do. You I take that back. But you do come out of it like, whoa. And the problem is I watch it now. It's not a problem, but I watch it now and I'm like, I know how to sort of prepare myself to watch this film. Whereas the first time I didn't, and I kind of would love to go back to that and be like, oh my God, what's just happened to me? You know, kind of vibe. So,
I kind of felt that way a little bit with The Greatest Showman. Not
Yeah?
to the extent of Moulin Rouge, but yeah, it was quite a spectacle. And I like that.
yes.
You know, I like the whole spectacle and like you're completely entertained,
Yeah.
you know. And like when the song, I remember the song like Nirvana's Smells Like Teen
I
Spirit.
know,
And you're just like, that's Nirvana.
yeah.
You know, and when Christian does your song, Elton John,
My gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and like I love the way they use the whole "Come What May" as like their love song, and
Oh,
you know when
it's
she's like
lovely.
basically, you know, being cruel to be kind and telling him to, you know, she doesn't love him anymore, and then she sings the song.
I love the bit where like Kylie Minogue turns up as the green
Oh,
fairy.
yeah.
So good. I mean, I don't think we've spoiled that too much. I think you could still go and watch this film for the first time if you haven't seen it already, and learn a lot and you know, find out a lot more about it. So yeah, that's one to recommend to you. But we hope you enjoy it for the first time in the immense way that we did.
Yeah, you should
And
do.
we share a film.
know.
Woo.
If it ever comes to theatre, we should go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Totally.
Yum on.
You're on. So, what are we on now? Your third film.
Well, my next film was a film from 1993 with Al Pacino and Chris O'Donnell and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Scent of a Woman.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never seen it.
Oh my goodness. It's such a good film. It's a drama and it's basically about a schoolboy who's like in this really preppy, like, you know, rich kid kind of school. And he needs a job,
Yeah.
like for the summer and stuff. His family aren't rich, and he gets a job as an assistant to Pacino, who's like this blind ex-veteran, quick-tempered, you know, grumpy guy. And basically, you know, he brings them on this journey to do things that he wants to do because he's basically going to die,
Okay.
and you know, his family don't like him and all this kind of stuff. So he brings them on this trip to do all these things he wants to do. So like there's one scene in it, for instance, where he does this amazing, he's blind, mind you, this amazing tango. I mean,
Ooh.
it's one of the most amazing dance scenes with this actress called Gabrielle Anwar. And it's one of the most amazing scenes for the tango in a film I've ever seen. I can't remember the name of the music. But you know, he before he does it, he literally goes, "Tell me the room," and he tells her the
Okay.
room, and he just gets out there, and it's just it's amazing, you know. But basically, O'Donnell's kind of having his own problems in the fact that he witnessed something happen at school, and the school's really like, you know, it's all who's your rich daddy basically, and so basically they know that the school knows that he's seen who did this thing, where basically they put paint on one of the dean's cars or something, and they want him to tell. And so as the film goes on, he becomes really good friends with Pacino. Like Pacino starts liking him,
Yeah.
and he won't. So at the end, like he's in this school, you know, you have to tell us. If you don't tell us, we're going to expel you. But we're not going to expel the rich kids because they've done a little bit to help us, which is bullshit. It's just because
yeah.
daddy's got money. Anyway, Pacino, in true Pacino style, stands up and does one of the most amazing speeches. Even just Google "Scent of a Woman" Pacino speech.
I think I've heard about it.
Oh my God, it is just one of the most amazing speeches ever. And like, it's Pacino, who's like one of the best actors ever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Gives
just
me the Wiggins though. Gives me the Wiggins.
no, he is. He's creepy as hell. Like, do you know what I mean? But I
He's
think
good.
that's
You can't
I think
deny.
that's his
Yeah, he's
thing.
good. Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And it's just a really good film. Like, do you know what I mean? Something to put on a Sunday afternoon, you know, and just
Enjoy.
enjoy. Yeah, it's just a really good film, a really good story.
So what is it about it that you would wish you hadn't? You know, that you could go back for.
I think it's the main thing for me actually was the performance of them two together, because a lot of big actors were like Nicholson was asked to do it. He went off and did, I think, A Few Good Men, and I think people like Matt Damon. I know this was very young Matt Damon and stuff like that were asked to do
Yeah.
it, but these two got together and did it, and their chemistry between
Just
them
works.
really works really well. And it's just a really like, because he's a miserable bastard, like, do you know what I mean? And he's quite horrible to this guy at the start, but he kind of. It's kind of a bit of a love relation, a romantic relationship, if you will. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's not between a man and a woman, and it's not the obvious thing. I mean, you can see that he's going to probably turn around a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's how he goes from this bitter old man, you know, and then this young lad comes in and kind of really starts to show him. And at the end, after, you know, he's kind of helped out O'Donnell and stuff like that, you know, he kind of goes in and he cuddles his little grandson or his nephew, I can't remember who it is. And it's just a nice story about two men just kind of like needing each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of what I liked about it. It's a romantic film in a sense, but not
romancy.
Yeah, not being a man or two men kissing or two women kissing or a man and a woman kissing. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I really enjoyed. But the speech
Okay.
and the dancing.
All right, I'll watch this.
And he's blind driving, I think, a Ferrari.
What the fudge?
Yeah. So, what more could you ask for? But yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely watch that one.
Cool.
What's your next one?
Yeah, my next film is the Prestige by Christopher Nolan.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I always get that mixed up with another film. Is this the one with Christian Bale?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, is that called The Illusionist with Edward Norton that you?
Yeah. I always get those two mixed up. Are they quite similar films?
They were about magicians and
Yeah,
they came out at
okay.
the same time.
Yeah.
But it's not the same storyline. So this was in 2006. It's have you seen it?
I have, but I don't remember it at all.
Ooh,
Sorry.
that wounds me.
Sorry.
Okay, it's about two rival stage magicians at the end of the 19th century in London, played by Christian. I put Christopher. So, Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. It also features Michael Caine and Scarlett Johansson in supporting roles, and as I said, it was directed by Christopher Nolan, and the script was adapted by Christopher Nolan's brother Jonathan, who's also writing Westworld at the moment. But anyway, Lorraine, what?
No, what's the actor guy that looks like Jack Nicholson? Christian.
I don't.
He's in he's in that film with Rosanna Arquette. Not Rosanna Arquette.
Christian
Arquette.
Slater.
Christian Slater. That's who I was thinking of. Sorry. Sorry, I wouldn't have been able to concentrate until I thought of that.
That's fine.
Even when you said Bell, I was like, yeah, but Christian Bale.
I know. I was like, I just said that.
Sorry. But I was thinking of Christian Slater. I thought when you said Christian Bell, I was thinking of Christian Slater for some reason. I don't know. Sorry.
No, it's fine. So, this is the first and probably only movie where I figured out the twist before it's revealed, and I was so proud of myself.
I love it when that
I know.
happens.
But I'm really proud as well because a lot of people didn't get it when I was like, yes, and I remember the moment. But anyway, I've never experienced the buzz from the reveal as I have from this, mainly because I've just said I figured it out before it happened, but then also because you're just like, holy shit, that was masterful, Nolan. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a master of cinema anyway, but there's just I don't want to reveal the twist in this film, but it's a twist film, and what I love about what makes me sort of sad that I can't watch it again for the first time is because I know the twist, but in a way I kind of like going back and watching it because I'm just like, oh, there's a little thing there that makes you think that's gonna happen, and you want to go back and watch it because you want to see how Nolan's playing with your perception of it, and it's just such a clever one. But
what girl is in that?
It's Scarlett Johansson, and there's also Rebecca Ferguson. No, not Rebecca Ferguson. Rebecca Hall. Sorry, I do apologise. She's his wife. It's all about misdirection, and again, I won't go too into it, but there's some really good cameos from David Bowie.
Really?
Yeah, he plays Tesla, who's a real person.
Is this based on a true story?
No. Tesla was a real person.
Yeah.
But these two magicians weren't. But I think a lot of their storyline is kind of based on ones that were around at the time. But Hugh Jackman, he's done serious roles.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's kind of a love-hate thing for him. But you can understand why he's doing what he's doing. And it's just a really clever little film. And stylistically, it's lovely. And I love the whole Victorian sort of vibe about it. And fun fact for me, I went to the cemetery in LA where they filmed one of the scenes pretending it was London, and I was just like, Alec, this was where they filmed The Prestige, and he couldn't care less, but
I would have cared.
Yeah. So
what is it that, like, did you say all the twists and turns that made it something that you?
Yeah, because I almost spoiled it for myself because I figured out the twist, but it was yeah. But when it actually comes to the point where it's revealed, you're just like, how the hell did they do that? That was just so clever. It's just one of those films.
So it's about getting the biggest, like, illusion, so to speak. Like,
Yeah, okay, so this isn't a spoiler. Basically, it's these two magicians, Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, and they were originally buddies, partners in a performance, and a tragedy happens which separates them, and they almost become rivals to produce the biggest spectacle illusion in London at the time. And then you as with all Nolan films, he plays with time in it, and yeah, it's just about their rivalry, and something's revealed behind behind one of the spectacles at the end, and it makes a big impact. And it's just awesome.
oh, I think I might watch that again.
I got like 2 copies. I don't know why. So you can take one.
She plays them at the same time.
And there's just a very lovely line in it, and I don't want to reveal what that line is, but if you get what that line is, then comment or come back to me in a message and we'll discuss it. So what's your... I suppose
This is my last film now, because I
'cause-
kind of think we did a joint Moulin Rouge thing.
Sorry, mate.
Okay, well, my last one, which I know won't be in Harry's list, is 1991, James Cameron, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, Edward Furlong, and Robert Patrick.
Just the
Terminator
second
2.
one. Dude, I fucking love that film.
Oh, thank God.
I like taught myself to sprint like that guy, and I was genuinely faster in school.
I thought you were going to say you were faster than Robert Patrick. I was like,
I might have
really?
been. They didn't monitor it. Dude, that's film.
Yeah. No, I thought this was great. I mean, I liked the first one. I really did like the first one. But I think, I seem to like sequels better than the first one. I seem to say that a lot about films.
Oh, yeah, because you liked Aliens.
Yeah, better. Godfather 2 I like better.
Maybe
Pitch Perfect 2 I like better.
Maybe Cameron is just better at sequels. Oh,
Yeah,
what
maybe
does that say
Avatar.
about Avatar too?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I did like the first Avatar.
I
Yeah, but this is basically James Cameron, who's, everyone that sees a James Cameron film, they're massive productions.
Yeah.
You got Titanic, you have Avatar, Aliens. Shout out to Aliens. But for this, because this one's like in the 90s, Aliens is in the, the 80s, Avatar is in the noughties. That was before 2010, was it?
No, because it was in 2010. We watched it because I remember we lived
Okay.
together.
But yeah, so he's massively into his whole special effects. And one thing again about this, like Jurassic Park, it keeps, it's still, you can still watch it today and not think that's old. There is one scene where you're kind of like, okay, and that's the scene at the end, the car chase with the tanker and the people are in it, and that's a little bit,
Yeah, a little bit ropey.
a little bit, yeah, it's like a little, what do you call it, that's been made.
Oh, prop.
Not a prop,
No.
what's it called?
She's waving her hands around and
I know,
very nice.
a model, like a model of the
yeah,
things
yeah.
being made, yeah. So that's one scene, but that aside, the rest of it, like when you see the Robert Patrick's character, who's the shape shifting T-100.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk in it. I don't remember him talking in it.
He's
I think he said, he only kind of talks when he's like someone else. He doesn't talk as himself, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So basically he's a more advanced Terminator who's come back to basically this time round.
He's terrifying.
He is.
Scared the shit out of me when I was
He
a
is,
kid.
because he just looks,
That blank face.
yeah. And
But
I
the
think
sternness of it
yeah,
as well. Ooh.
yeah.
Sure.
But he like Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, obviously in the first one, is trying to kill Sarah O'Connor because they don't want John to be born. Whereas in this one, he comes back to protect John from the T-100,
Yeah.
who is a more advanced
version.
So obviously it becomes a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
And basically this film is, again, pure action.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
No, sorry. There's just this one scene, and I don't know who the guy's character is, but he's something to do. There's a bomb basically, and he's holding it, and he's going.
Oh,
my
yeah,
God,
no,
that scene
that's
is so intense.
Yeah, basically they go into Miles Dyson is the head, like he works. Is it Dyson? Yes, it is Miles Dyson. Yeah, so basically he works for the company that creates, these robots, but obviously he doesn't realize what's going to happen.
Yeah, I
and
remember
then they go to kill him basically, and they show the arm because he's like, no, this hasn't happened, and they show him
Yeah.
the arm, and but they don't kill him. And I think it's him. He's got the. He's doing that. Yeah.
Because if he puts it down, anybody's dying, and if he puts it down, it's going to explode.
I think they kind of kill him, but they don't. So basically they go to him and tell him what's done. So they need to obviously destroy everything so that none of this obviously happens.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah, it is. And it's quite like when you look at this one, there's quite, because like you've got John O'Connor, who basically his mother is in an asylum. He's
like
got
pull-ups.
his father is, Reese, Michael Biehn from from Terminator, the first Terminator. So he's got his family that he lives with, they don't give a toss about him. He's a bit of a juvenile delinquent at this stage. So then you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger who comes in, and he kind of like is there as this protector, father figure, and they actually end up with a really good relationship. And at the end, it's quite sad, isn't it? The way he, when he goes into the hot...
Oh, yeah. Liquid magma.
Liquid magma. What's that? Oh, Austin Powers. Magma. And like, the hands going and all this kind of stuff. And it's actually quite,
the music as well.
It's really intense. But this is another one as well, like, where you just, again, constantly...
I honestly had nightmares about that scene where Robert Patrick...
The running. Is that when he has the...
And he turns his fingers into and he's on the back of the car.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He could do things that the other one can't do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and of course you got Linda Hamilton, who is like Sigourney. She's a complete badass, an amazing female action hero. And if they do make the Expendables, we want Linda and Sigourney in it. We do. They can be like the head Expendables, and then the other ones can follow. So yeah, just basically an all-round great action film. Still holds true with its special effects. I am a big fan of James Cameron. I think he does some great films.
Oh yeah.
And this is one of them. And so that's definitely one I still watch quite often.
But you wish you could.
Oh yeah, because like I think as well, like back in the 90s, like I think why it's maybe a little bit easier for certain films is because you didn't get like that. Like when you see certain things, you're like, wow. Like now, when you see special, like even something like...
We're trying to record a podcast here.
Talking here. Even when, you see films nowadays, as amazing a spectacle they are, like Avatar, for instance, I'm like, oh my God, like Jesus Christ, the CGI in that is epic. But it's so easy. Like, I'm not saying it's easy done because I wouldn't be able to do it, but it's, the technology is there. Whereas back then, there wasn't that kind of technology, but yet they make these films, and you're watching Terminator 2 and you're watching like The Matrix and what was my first film that I said? Oh, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And you're still like, wow.
These guys have taken the time to give you, the epic film experience. Yeah.
And I think that's what I like about them, is that they you still can be shocked by what they're doing and like wowed by what they're doing in 2018 when this was made in 1991.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it deserves to be in my list.
Right,
and I'm glad you agreed with it.
I love Terminator 2.
God, we're practically the same person.
What is going on in this episode?
I
didn't love Terminator.
Really?
No. I did like Terminator Salvation. And I know nobody liked that, but I like that.
Is that the one with Christian Bale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that too. Terminator, there's when I fell in love with Michael Biehn. And then I fell in love with him. Actually, no, I'd fallen in love with him. No, because Terminator was before Aliens.
Is he the dude that's in Tombstone? He's like, Ringo? And he's like,
I don't know, I'll Google it.
Okay. Because he's a bit creepy in that, if it is. By the way, watch Tombstone, it's really good.
Tombstone is a good film, actually.
Hell's coming with me!
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But, Aliens.
It is him.
Yeah. All right, so Terminator was before that and then Aliens. So, yeah, I was in love with him for a while in the 80s. I wanted him to be my boyfriend when I was 10. Sorry, so what was your next film?
Well, I've got two more because obviously we.
Do you have two?
Yeah, because this is. I got 4 and 5, but we combined on Moulin.
Oh yeah. Okay. So.
Are you happy for me to?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So, my next one is a 2001 film directed by Cameron Crowe called Vanilla Sky.
Oh really?
Have you seen that?
I have.
Okay.
I wasn't overly fond of that film.
Oh really?
Yeah. Is that the one where Tom Cruise has the?
She's
Oh yeah. The face.
Yeah. So I'll explain that bit in a minute. What Lorraine's talking about. So this is an English language adaptation of Alejandro's Amenabas, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, 1997 Spanish film, Open Your Eyes. And I didn't know about this film before I saw Vanilla Sky. So I had no clue about what the storyline was going to be. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's one of those films where you're like, what?
Yeah, I don't think I got it. I think I'd need to watch it again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you do. If you don't, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you're meant to kind of get it, but you kind
Okay,
of.
because I remember watching it and I don't know, I could have went in and made a cup of tea or something.
Well, come on now. That's just
Sorry.
rude. I mean.
And I love Tom Cruise.
All right, so to give you a little bit of a synopsis, Tom Cruise plays a character called David Ames, and he's a wealthy tycoon who's inherited a publishing empire. He lost his parents at an early age, and he's a bit of a douchebag. He's a bit of a playboy who doesn't work hard and plays hard. And he's got a buddy in the
Like Cameron Diaz.
yeah, played by Cameron Diaz, and she's called Julie. She clearly likes him a lot more than he likes her, and they're at a party that he's hosting, and he's trying to hide from Julie, and then he sees. And then he's introduced to his mate's date, which is pretty slack, of him, Penelope Cruz, and he's just like instantly,
Is that when they got together?
That's when they started dating. So, at the beginning of this film, Tom Cruise is wearing a prosthetic mask, and he's in prison, and he's talking to a court psychologist played by Kurt Russell, and he takes you back in time to flashbacks to explain why he's in this bad situation, and so I'm not going to give too much more away, but that you can know, and this film just blew my mind and my family's. I remember me and my dad chat about this film quite a lot, because there's just, it's just insane towards the end. You're just like, what the fuck? I don't want to. I just can't tell you too much.
But why is it on your list?
Because I would love, because it's the same as The Prestige. It's the same as The Matrix. It's the same as the next film I'm going to talk about. You just want to go back and spot all the details that make up the end, the reveal, the plot, but you will never watch it in the same way again, in the fact that you're just like, what?
I do like that when you watch a film and you miss something the first time and then you get to see it the second time. You're like,
Yeah. And I think that's the case with a lot of these films that you want to watch for the first time again, because you know the reveal, but then it's also really nice to go back and sort of get those details. But also, it has one of the best movie soundtracks. It's really good, and it introduced me to a Bob Dylan song called Fourth Time Round, which is just like one of my favourite songs ever. So yeah, check that one out. I really can't give you too much.
I won't watch
detail.
it again. Just being honest.
Oh, that's sad. Claire, will you watch it?
Yeah, probably.
If you didn't hear that, she went, yeah, probably.
She's not going to watch it.
I think you'd like it. I genuinely do. So yeah, that was one of mine. And I suppose I've got to move on to my last one now.
Yeah, what's your next one?
I think this is a freaking doozy, like in a good way. Fight Club.
Okay, I approve.
Thank you.
I approve. I think actually I made a list of films and I think that was one of them.
I am Jax winning in this.
Because I swear to God, the end song, you know me, I love, Pixies, Where Is My Mind? I love a song in a film that just goes, yeah, it's perfect for that. And when they're holding hands, and that's,
Yeah.
sorry.
We're probably gonna spoil this one, guys. So
There's some fighting in it. Spoiler alert.
So again, this is 1999, same year as The Matrix. So goddamn, cinema was good that year, I think. Yeah.
That film's a great film. I love the Fight Club. It's not called the Fight Club. Fight Club. I love the Fight Club, I do. I go there every Tuesday.
When we first thought of this film topic to discuss these films, this was my number one. I knew that I was going to be talking about this one from the very beginning, because I have never had a reaction to a film like I have to the first time I watched this. It was like 2:00 in the morning that me and my friend finished watching it, and we were just, literally our jaws were on the floor, and we were just like, whoa, what the fuck was that about? Oh my God, did you see that coming? You know, it was like one of those. And we were just wired afterwards because you're like, how? What? It's, you know.
No, it was exceptional. And how amazing is Brad Pitt in that film?
Amazingly
shirt off.
hot.
Do you know the worst thing is like when we were having a child, if it was a boy, I was thinking of names, and my partner's last name is Purdon. And I remember going, oh, I wouldn't mind Tyler. And I was like, Tyler Purdon. And I was like, no, that's a bit too close to Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
But no, it was because I remember at the start, like I obviously he didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I remember,
Spoiler.
sorry, well, it's old. You should have seen it by now. And I remember thinking at the start, does he? Does he exist? No, he doesn't. No. But then, like, I think.
Oh, you actually queried whether he was real?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought he was always real.
No, I thought he was real at the start. And then I kind of realised he wasn't. I don't know when, but
Oh,
I
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember
no.
thinking, no, he's not real. And I really liked Helena Bonham Carter's character.
Marla
What
Singer.
a nut job.
Yeah.
Like,
she's
do you know what I mean?
great.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Perfect cast in there.
Yeah, everybody is great in
Yeah.
that film. Even fucking Meatloaf, you know?
Oh, and Jared Leto.
Oh, I know.
When they kick the living shit out of
When
him.
he kicks the living shit, yeah. Oh, that bit was sad. Just so good. That's all I can really say.
No, it is a good film. Very bizarre concept though, isn't it?
Okay, so if you haven't seen it, and hopefully you don't understand what we're talking about when it comes to the reveal, it follows this guy played by Edward Norton. He's an unnamed protagonist, and he's an insomniac, hypochondriac, and he's generally a bit weird. And he hates his job. He likes IKEA furniture, and
Who doesn't?
and he attends support groups to kind of deal with his issues.
Oh God, yeah, he's got every disease going, isn't he?
Yeah. So he forms a friendship with he eventually forms this friendship with Brad Pitt's character Tyler Durden, and they both have a strange relationship with Helena Bonham Carter's character Marla Singer, who also attends these support groups and who also doesn't have anything wrong with her.
She attends one for testicular cancer, doesn't she?
Yeah. And it just apparently upon release this like polarized audiences because they were just like, you know, what the hell. Because it's a unique storyline and also because it's really violent and it's thought-provoking and it explores like the moral compass of like your generation and it's like it kind of has an opinion about the morality of corporations and shit as well. It honestly explores so much. It's just one of those films, and again one of the biggest plot twists I can think of in a film, and now it's a cult classic, and
Yeah, definitely.
you don't talk about Fight Club.
I always wonder, did a load of fight clubs open up after that
I
film?
know, yeah.
You know.
I mean, not that it's something to think that's great, but it's like, wow.
Well,
imagine.
you know, when Whip It came on, everyone started doing roller derby, including us.
Yeah. Great film, by the way.
But yeah, no, that actually was it nearly made mine as well. That is a great film.
Yeah, it's really, really great. And again, Brad Pitt is just,
He's really good in
He's
that.
phenomenal,
Actually. That's
isn't it?
one of his best roles.
yeah. He's just, I don't know, he's got just such a great sort of way of moving his body,
Yeah,
you know?
he kind of dances
Yeah.
through the whole film.
Yeah.
He doesn't really just
And
walk.
he's got such strange, like, pelvis. It's a weird
I'll
thing to
take
say.
But yeah, no, he does. He kind of dances through the whole film. He doesn't really, you know.
I love it. Yeah, I love it when him and Marla are in that hallway and he's just like moving from side to side. So good. So that's my
Good
final.
choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I think we've got covered some good films there.
I was surprised by your list actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What do you think I'd go for like some cake, bake me a cake or whatever you said?
I thought you'd be a little bit more arty-farty.
Thanks, mate. Hey, Fight Club's like an art.
No, more like, you know, The English Patient or something.
Still a good film.
I know, but no, I'm impressed by your list.
Thanks.
Well, the Matrix and Fight Club, because I don't remember the others. Oh, obviously Moulin Rouge.
Okay. Oh, right. So I'm moving on to something I'm really excited to move on to. And that is Flashback Film Club.
Woohoo!
And what are we going to be discussing, Lorraine?
Big Trouble in Little China.
So this is a John Carpenter, who you're very familiar with.
I am indeed.
Halloween?
Yes.
Okay. And it was directed in 1986. And,
I think I seen this when it came out.
really?
I think I did. Yeah, I know. I wasn't 1986. No, I wouldn't have. I would have been a couple of years later. Like maybe when it came out on video, I would have seen that because I would have been too. Because it's a 15, isn't it? I think it was a 15 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't born.
Oh, for God's sake! I don't like you today.
That's not very nice. So this is it's just one of those films that just mixes all kinds of genres. It's a fantasy, martial arts, comedy.
It's very bizarre, actually. The whole
So bizarre.
century-old mystical battle Asian
Wizards.
wizards, Lopan thing. It shouldn't work.
No.
It's one of those films you look at and I'm like, how
I
is
don't
this
think
good?
it did work at the time for like the audience at the time either.
Yeah, but I loved it.
I loved it.
I thought it was, and I was so in love with one of the basket head men. I fancied one of them.
Oh, was it Lightning? Or
Yes,
Rain?
Lightning, the one that yeah.
Yeah, he's hot.
Yeah.
I liked Rain.
I think it was Lightning.
There's Thunder, who's ugly. Then there's Rain, and then there's Lightning. And Rain and Lightning were kind of hot, but Lightning was
Oh,
hotter.
maybe it was him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically about this guy Lopan who is like, isn't he like really old?
He's like thousands.
Yeah,
older, I
and
think.
basically for like he wants to be youthful again, isn't it? He
No, he wants his corporeality back.
okay, cool. And he needs a green-eyed girl that takes the form of one Asian girl whose name I don't know, and
Yeah, I don't remember any.
Samantha Jones, aka Kim Cattrall, a very young Kim Cattrall. So he's basically got these two women because he needs
Well, it
green-eyed girls to help him on his way.
yeah, that's his story, but it follows like Kurt Russell and accompanying his mate Wang,
Yeah.
played by what's his name, Dennis Dunn.
Dennis Dunn. Yeah.
And he's helping him.
Oh,
to,
it's his fiance.
yeah, she
yeah.
gets kidnapped at the beginning,
At the
and
airport, yeah.
Jack Burton
Yeah.
and Dennis Dunn, and Wang go and find her, and Kim Cattrall, and there's all sorts of madness ensues.
Isn't there like some really strange creature in there?
There's loads of shit. Yeah,
That this is one film that doesn't actually hold today. Like you watch it and it's great, but the creatures,
oh yeah,
you know, it's from the 80s.
oh yeah. But apparently that eye thing,
Yeah.
that was the most expensive thing in the movie. Yeah, and it's so bad. Yeah, apparently this was intended to be set in the 1890s in San Francisco, and was meant to be a bit of a western.
Really?
But then, yeah, they all decided that wouldn't work.
No, I couldn't see it. Sorry.
No, it just wouldn't. Yeah, it would be a completely different thing, wouldn't it? And yeah, it was a massive flop at the time, which was a shame. But I was reading up today, and apparently Carpenter wanted to make it as kind of an American love letter to like foreign martial arts films.
Ah.
And I mean, there isn't a fantastic amount of martial arts in there, really, though, is there?
No.
No,
No, there's not.
It's just bizarre.
I wouldn't even call it martial art film. Wouldn't have
No.
come to my mind. I mean, there's a little bit,
A little, yeah.
but there's
but-
not.
but-
No.
No. So yeah, Jack Burton, who's played by Kurt Russell, Kurt Russell just plays a blinder
Yeah.
in this film.
Yeah.
There's so many memorable quotes. It's untrue. But yeah, he's awesome. But what's really interesting, again, I read up on this because I knew we were talking about it, but is that, and I didn't think about it until I read it, but they flip the whole white hero sidekick kind of thing on its ass. And if you really think about it, Jack Burton isn't the main
Oh,
character.
he's useless.
Yeah, he's useless. And
Yeah.
he's Wang's sidekick.
Yeah. No,
and
I agree 100%.
I thought that was really interesting because I never
Yeah,
thought of
because
it
every
that
time
way.
he kind of like he goes to, do like punch or something like that, your man's like in there giving it loads already. Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
He's like a comedy side act almost.
Yeah.
The one that goes to punch something and misses every time.
Yeah.
He's just got this great, like, he's like this all-American truck driver. I can save the day.
Yeah.
And fails miserably.
Yeah, he is. He's and And another interesting fact: Taika Waititi apparently based Thor's role in Thor Ragnarok a little bit on Jack Burton, and you can totally see
Yeah,
it.
actually, when you say that, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Bit of a Neanderthal.
Yeah, just makes a joke of it, thinks he's the shit, but actually isn't quite.
But even the way he walks, Jack Burton walks, he's kind of got that swagger
I
where,
suppose, yeah.
I am the shit
Yeah.
with my big truck.
Yeah. But it's just a sort of delicious film to watch as well. Visually as well, there's just many loads of little quirks in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch it.
I'd watch it again.
I'd
watch it again and
regularly.
again.
Yeah, it's
Do you know what I mean? If you were going around and someone says, let's put this on, I'd be like, yeah, fine, no problem.
And I think it's a film for most ages. It's not like it's massively scary.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. I think, was it a 15? I think it was a 15. But I wouldn't put it as a 15, but I think it was. Maybe I'm wrong. Let us know.
Yeah.
But even like I'm looking at a picture of it now actually, and there's like Kurt Russell is standing there, massive with a gun, and then at the bottom, he's 50 foot tall, and at the bottom there's Kim Cattrall, damsel in distress, lying at his feet with all the other characters when he couldn't, like you said, he couldn't be far from the opposite really.
I really like it when she's like, I can't do something because I know there's something wrong with your face.
I actually used that line today. That must be where I got it from.
Oh, really?
Your face. Yeah. No, he's perfect casting though. He is very funny, Kurt Russell. I do like Kurt Russell.
I think
he's very likable.
Yeah, I think this and Tombstone are like my two favourite films of his. So he's just really good at the one-liners.
Yeah.
Really good.
I think it's the way he pulls his face though. He doesn't, when he does these lines, he doesn't just say them. He kind of moves his body and his,
and his little smirks.
Yeah, and like kind of the eyes are kind of going, and like he kind of does it. It doesn't just say it, he does it with all of his body.
Yeah,
he actually acts with all his features and all his body, and I think that's what
works.
What comes across, and works for him big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do like this one, but yeah, definitely one for kids, adults, older people.
Well, I was introduced to it at an early age and regularly viewed it at home, and I think it's probably contributed to the way I am today.
I watched it in the 80s.
You've not seen it since?
Oh God, yeah, I've seen it loads of times since. Yeah. No, definitely a good one for the Flashback Film Club.
Yeah, man. So, what films are you looking forward to coming out or coming up, or what do you want to watch next?
One film I am really looking forward to seeing next is The Post. I want to watch that with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks.
By Spielberg, is that?
Yeah. So basically, it's a film about she's basically the first female publisher for a major American publication, The Washington Post. He is with the New York Post, and basically it's about exposing a big, massive cover-up by the US government that's gone over, I think, 3 decades with over 4 presidents. Wow. Like, I just thought it was about Nixon because I heard them mention Nixon, but apparently there's more. It looks like Tom Hanks was on Graham Norton there the other day, and he was talking about it, and it looks really good. Yeah. Like, that's a good cast.
Oh yeah, those
Meryl
two.
Streep and Tom Hanks, that's a good cast.
Well, and Spielberg making it.
Well, yeah, exactly. You can't really go wrong with him, can you?
Cool.
So yeah, that's one I'm definitely looking forward to. And you got any?
Yeah, I got a few. One of them I'm looking forward to seeing is Black Panther. Ooh. The new Marvel one that's coming out.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that in our first.
The trailer is phenomenal.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Black Panther character, so I'm
nor
intrigued.
do I.
But like in terms of like a visual assault with senses, I
that's
think
definitely a cinema film.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Now, one that's kind of grasped my attention is Downsizing.
Oh right, okay.
It looks really
bizarre.
Yeah, basically they shrink you to like 5 inches tall.
Yeah.
Because to deal with the overpopulation of the world. But there's this one scene. Have you seen any trailers for it?
Yeah.
There's a giant Absolute vodka bottle, and they're like, pouring it like this. But Matt Damon's in it, and I think Kristen Wiig is his wife.
And Christoph Waltz as well. Yeah.
But it looks like quite different. I mean, a strange version of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's one. And another one is The Darkest Hour. You know,
Oh,
the
okay.
Winston Churchill one.
Yeah.
My partner's mother said that apparently that in cinemas has been getting standing ovations.
The Darkest Hour?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, even in England and America as well. Do you know what I mean?
I've heard there's some very good speeches in it.
I think there'd need to be, really, wouldn't there?
Mm.
But yeah, so those 3 films, and I might be going to see one of them next week. But yeah, they're 3. What about you? Any more?
Yeah, it's more sort of TV stuff. I want to watch this thing that's coming out called American Crime Story, the assassination of Gianni Versace.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm so into my crime documentaries and crime films and crime life. No, not crime life. That sounds really bad. No, that'd be totally up my street.
It's got Ricky Martin and...
Is it a documentary or is it a TV program?
It's a TV program.
Okay.
And apparently Donatella Versace is just like vetoing it. She's like,
I don't want anything to do with it.
no. And Penelope Cruz plays her in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, I can see that.
I can't remember who plays Gianni Versace, but he looks just like him, and he's an actor who was in that Bright film. I don't know if you watched that.
I haven't seen that yet. No.
He's this Latino actor. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks really good. And then Westworld's second season's coming out this
I
year.
could not get into that.
Really?
I watched one episode of it, and Dev, my partner, keeps going, "Let's do it again," and I'm just like, "Okay," but he keeps forgetting.
It's a
so I
slow
don't say anything.
burner. It is a slow burner, but yeah. And it had its flaws, but it's still, I think they can pull it back. And again, it's Jonathan Nolan, and he's a good writer. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I'm just waiting for the second part of The Walking Dead to come out in February.
I thought you were giving up on...
No, well, we nearly did. We're in, I think it's season 8 now, and like I love The Walking Dead, and there was a few episodes, and I was like, I'm not excited about watching it tonight, and then they brought it back,
Okay.
and we were very pleased,
Okay.
because we'd invested. It was like with 24, the last season, I kind of went off it a little bit, and I was
Yeah.
really disappointed. I've done that with quite a few shows actually, but I want to stick with The Walking Dead, but I will now because it got great again, and I really want to say something, but I can't because it would spoil it. If someone hasn't seen it, but yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
Faux show.
Faux show. So I think that's us. Done. Finito.
So our next one is going to be 5 films that make you wanna weep like a little bitch.
Oh, that's going to be a tough one.
Oh, I know. That means I'm gonna have to watch sad films. There's certain films. Oh my god, I can see them now. Oh, there's one. I don't know if I could put myself through it. No, but there are. You know the way there's some films and like you want to watch them, but you're like, do you know what?
I want to
can't.
put through my.
I remember
through this.
after I had my kid that apparently after you have a kid, a few days later, you just go into this hysteric of crying. Like a few people said to me, you don't know why, it just won't happen. And then the health nurse come over and she says, just put on a sad film and get it over and done with. And you do.
It's
You
good
literally
advice.
like, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's certain films I'm just like, oh, I'm not sad today, so I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so that's going to be in our next podcast. So prepare yourselves for that one, people. And again, send in any suggestions of your own.
And questions.
And questions.
And thoughts.
And thoughts.
And please, when you go on to iTunes or SoundCloud, leave a review or just give us 5 stars.
Especially on iTunes.
Yeah, because it helps us if you give us all that. It makes us very happy.
We would appreciate it. So yeah, keep an eye on what we've got planned for future podcasts via our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and Twitter. We're Show Me the Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and SMTPcast on Twitter.
And you can also email us on showmethepodcast@gmail.com.
And you can see mine and Lorraine's individual projects, such as blogs, videos, and more, via the following.
I am on WordPress and Pinterest at Winging It, the Truth About Parenting. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Lorraine Smith with a Y 74.
And I'm Tales of Peck on Instagram, Twitter, and WordPress. And I occasionally create some video content about some of the travels I do with my partner in crime, Alec, and they're on Vimeo at Head Productions.
And you've been listening to Show Me the Podcast, and thanks for listening. That'll do, pig. That'll do.